Welcome back to 22 Savage TV. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe. I appreciate all your support. So this is going to be Waiver Wednesday for week 6. I'm going to go over some options that I think you should consider adding to your roster. Based on what's happened so far in the season. I think these guys will probably be able to help you out not only this week, but going into the future. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start as usual, going here to my watch list. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into it. First person I want to go ahead and highlight here, he's going to be pretty much on everybody's radar. He was, I would say, a top dog last week in terms of fantasy. It's going to be this guy right here, Kadarius Toney. He had a big game last week against my Cowboys, of course, and it didn't really help them in terms of the win and loss column, but in terms of fantasy football, he definitely helped a lot of rosters out there. The Giants right now, they're having a lot of injuries at their wide receiver core. I think, Darius Slayton's been dealing with a hamstring. Sterling Shepard's been out. I think Galladay actually got hurt in this game, and then that running game has been suffering as well. Obviously, Saquon had that gruesome ankle injury, and so, the Giants are kind of thin at their skill position. I think Kadarius is a guy who's going to really be able to help him out. Now, obviously, he didn't help himself by getting ejected, taking a swing at my boys. That's not cool, man. But in terms of production, man, fantasy football, I think, the talent level's obviously there. As you can see, like I said, he had a monster game. I can't really recall the stats off the top of my head, but it was huge. It was, let's see here, 10 catches, 189 yards. So it was a huge game, and I think that's definitely not a fluke for this guy. I mean, look at him. Boy, just look like a savage. So I expect big things from Mr. Toney. Like I said, not only this week coming up, but moving forward. So Kadarius Toney, obviously, that's your top waiver wire for week 6. Let's keep it rolling here. I actually want to talk about this guy here, Jalen Reagor. Let's pull him up here, because he's on my watch list as well. Like I said, in my league is pretty deep. I'm having some issues at wide receiver, so I figure he'd be a good guy to kind of speak on. Now, this guy here, the thing is, he has the talent. Like, the talent is there, but the production has not been there. For some reason, I'm just getting a feeling that it's going to change. I believe in Jalen Hurts. I think that's probably the premise of it. I think Jalen is going to be the reason that Jalen Hurts is going to be the reason that Jalen Reagor's production starts to escalate over the coming weeks. Now, obviously, I could be wrong about that. I'm no Eagles fan, but it's not really about fandom. Over here on this side, it's really about the truth. And like I said, I just get kind of a feeling that Jalen Reagor is going to start to take off. So I think he's a guy you should consider. This is what we would call like a deep sleeper, if you will. Because he's not on a lot of radars, I don't think, but like I said, I believe in Jalen Hurts. That passing attack is going to start to take off. And when I look at the Eagles receiving core, I just don't see a lot of threats as far as, you know, people getting targets and taking away opportunities. So, like I said, deeper league, sleeper, definitely I would consider Jalen Reagor. So, let's actually keep it rolling. I want to talk about this guy right here, someone who used to play for the Eagles, Carson Wentz. So he had a big game Monday night. In terms of fantasy, anyway, it was a big game. They obviously came up short against Lamar Jackson. Go figure, you know. If y'all understand, y'all follow the channel and y'all follow the logic. You know, Carson Wentz is the only way I could put it is he's what we would call a MWB. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, I can't sugarcoat it. I mean, that's the best way I can. That's sugarcoating it if you ask me. You know, he's an MWB. So, you know, I've never been a big believer in Carson Wentz, but I know a lot of people are going to rush to add him. So I just wanted to mention him because this is Waiver Wednesday. So we want to talk about, you know, who's being added, who's not, you know, guys that you're on the fence about. It's not even really a question for me. Like, I've never been a believer in Carson Wentz. Now, I will say that, you know, he's with Frank Reich, and you know, we got that narrative out there, so there's a possibility that he could start to take off in terms of fantasy. Now, will it translate to wins for the Colts? I doubt it, but you know, and then there's always the fact that he just might get hurt, he just might get injured. I mean, the guy's brittle as a cracker. So Carson Wentz, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep it rolling. Now, actually, I wanted to go over some different players. I thought they would be on my list, but I don't see them here. Okay. As we know, this last week, there's a lot of missed field goals, a lot of missed kicks, a lot of kickers who disappointed. So, but this week, I actually wanted to do a little section on the kickers. Go over some guys I had my eye on at least. I'll talk about a couple of them. So the first one I wanted to bring up here, Nick Folk. As you can see, he's actually the number one kicker so far. Now I can attest, just last week, that was actually Daniel Carlson, my kicker, the kicker I had on my roster. So it's fluctuating, like it's really, changing wildly. And so you guys kind of got to be, on the ball as far as kickers. Now, that's why if you go back and watch the draft recap video, I explained to you that, it's not wise to invest in kickers early on unless you're getting Justin Tucker and you want to sell out on him. He's pretty much the only automatic kicker so far in fantasy football. And so this is him. I mean, it's like, dude, I wouldn't even waste a draft pick on him. So mostly what you're going to be doing is you're going to be alternating. You're going to be adding and dropping kickers all throughout the season. Me personally, that's the strategy that I would give you. I wouldn't ever get set on any one kicker. I mean, there's a handful. Like I would say Harrison Butker if you have the Chiefs kicker. Maybe Tyler Bass if you have the Bills kicker. And really would say like that's about it, because a lot of it is dependent on the offenses that they play on. Like if the offense isn't moving the ball, the kickers have no chance. And that's kind of where I am with Nick Folk, actually. Like the Patriots offense, if you've been following football these first 5 weeks, you would notice that they've been really inconsistent. And so, yeah, Nick Folk, but he's been good though. He's been fairly consistent. Like I said, #1 kicker. So Nick Folk, I would definitely add him, just to see what's going to happen for the future. Also, last one I'm going to talk about here, Mason Crosby. I would add Mason Crosby just because, again, he's like the flip side of Nick Folk. He's a kicker who's going to have a plethora of opportunities. And now, will he always convert those opportunities? Well, up until last week, he was pretty automatic. But last week, dude missed like 3 kicks. So, again, it's fluctuating. These are just some guys, like I said, I would keep my eye on. I would maybe add. And, they'll probably be beneficial to your roster at some point. You just have to really pay attention to the matchups. And, above all, I would just say probably go with your gut. Good never lies. And so that's going to be it for this week's video. Again, smash the like button, hit the subscribe. If you want to donate to the channel, hit the links. Appreciate all your support, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.